Good morning. I have 20 bucks. Well, I asked Tom if I could have 20 bucks from his wallet because I'm going to pay by EFTPOS. But the point being, today's video is a bit of a challenge. Can I get a $20 garden? Can I get a garden for 20 bucks? I think you can. Now, it's a combination of small space gardening. So if you don't have space, or you have space that you don't have the moolah to turn into a bigger garden right now, this could be something for you. The rules of the game are I can use anything I already have at home. Now, I know I've got some buckets at home, and they are 10 litre buckets and 20 litre buckets. Some are in better shape than others. If you need buckets, reach out to local painters. They've got to recycle their stuff somewhere, and as long as it's had water-based paint in it, you can use them. So, rules, back to the rules because I'm rambling. I'm going to be buying today dirt. I'm going to be buying some seedlings, maybe some seeds. The idea is to plant and grow what you eat. So we're going to buy greens. It's autumn. Greens are going to work for us. So yeah, let's go and do that. And then we'll talk about how to do it all, pros and cons and things to watch out for as we build it. See you in there. So I'm going to start at Mitre 10. And I know, because I know here they've got the number 8 potting mix. I did some Googling before I came out. That is the cheapest potting mix that I can use. Now, cheap does mean a little bit more maintenance and you've got to keep feeding the soil, and we'll get to that with compost in a bucket, which we'll do in another video. But this is what we're here for, and I'm also going to check out what seedling punnets they have and whether they've got a value range and what is here and what the price is. So remember, everything's got to fit within 20 bucks. Okay, straight down the back to the soil. If I look right, I can see lots of fruit plants, and that's not the purpose of the trip, so I need to focus on the task at hand. Oh, dead plant section. Oh, there's some lettuces there. Hang on, let's have a look. There's some lettuce here which is in relatively okay condition. I think, honestly, we're going to get a punnet of this to make into a lettuce bowl. So that's $1. Yay! There's also herbs over here, but we're not doing a herb pot today. It's marjoram and mint. We're coming out of mint season, so I'm not going to buy any of that. Oh, there's also a rhubarb. Rhubarb is an awesome thing to buy because once you get it established, it will actually grow forever and ever. Not so great for a pot and not so great right now, but I kind of wanted a rhubarb hedge at the back of my vegetable garden that I could just cut things off. Ooh, you know what? I'm going to buy this, but it's not going to be part of the challenge. So there you go, $1 spent, $19 left. Maybe less if I damage these pots as I do my trolley. Okay, so here is the bag soil aisle. Now, the whole idea of bag soil is generally the more expensive the soil, the more nutrients and stuff it kind of comes with, and the higher the quality. Now, it's subjective and there are many opinions. You've seen me use the Tui vegetable mix, and it was like 2 for $24 or $22 or something. Now, I don't have $16.25 in the budget for this challenge. Garden mix, $13. All-purpose potting mix. I don't need mulch and feed. I need the ones down here. The thing with buying cheap potting mix is you're going to have to regenerate it a little bit more quickly. So this is $8.59 and it's a 40 litre bag. So it comes with, this is what it says on the front, gypsum, 3 months slow release fertilizer, ideal for hanging basket, window boxes and pots. The whole thing about cheap potting mix is you'll have to put a little bit more work in to make sure the nutrients are replaced, because remember, in a pot we don't get the opportunity to pull up all the nutrients that exist in the soil around, so in the ground. We've got to keep giving it to it. So that just has to be something you've got in the back of your mind. Any pot's going to have to be fed. This one you just have to start a little bit earlier. But I have a plan, not for today's video but for another one coming. So I'm going to get one of these because I can do 5 buckets, maybe put 8 litres in each. Okay, trolley so far, don't just ignore that one. That's my other $1. So here we go, we've got $1 and $8.59, so $9.59 for the soil, meaning we've got about $10 left for more of these wee beasties. So now I'm thinking, what am I going to be looking at vegetable-wise? So let's go to the vegetable section and see what seedlings they have around. We may get a mix of seedlings and a mix of seeds. But let's have a look. I don't think I'm going to get my overall seedlings from here because I know Bunnings have a value range, and I know Kings have a cheap range which has 6 seedlings in the punnet. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of maybe shopping around, but it'll be worth it in the end. I can see herbs. I need herbs. I'm like a squirrel, just constantly distracted by stuff. Okay, here is the vegetable aisle. We'll see what we've got. Herbs are here, and we've got 4 for $16. Lots of lettuce. Lots of lettuce. Not many other seedlings around. So yeah, no more seedlings from here. Let's go buy this, and then we'll head across to Bunnings to see what they have in their plant offering. Yeah. Okay, what is this you found?
So you know how they have those no speak, no hear, no sea monkeys?
Yes.
This is one of them, I think, but it looks like it smelled something really bad. Look. Instead of like, no speak, more like, ooh, these flowers smell really
it's like
bad.
covering its nose,
God.
eh?
Yeah.
Aww. I like the flowers though. Cute.
I think they smell good.
Do they smell good? They smell like nothing. Okay, so for honesty and truth, $9.59 for the potting mix and the reduced plant.
For some reason.
There, if you need a bucket for this one little garden, it's 90 cents.
Maybe not. These are definitely too small, guys.
Wait.
All right, seedlings. So small veggie punnets are $2.39 each. That's not so bad. They've got a relatively good selection here as well. But what we're looking for is technically things that can go in a bucket. So if you're thinking about planting in a bucket, think about the square foot gardening concept. How many vegetables can, or how many plants can you put in a square foot, which is a 30 centimetre by a 30 centimetre square. So the key to success is making sure that you've got enough space around it and enough space under it. Anything you plant in a smaller part of a garden or a smaller dirt source is generally going to be smaller. So these are going to be salad greens, spinach, roly-poly carrots, maybe some kale we might try as well. These are things that kind of can cut and come again, and you can keep feeding. Lettuce will eventually do its dash, so will spinach, but I think these are things that you can put in a bucket, hey Thinny, that are going to be able to be harvested, again and again and again. So that's where the value in gardening is, I think, at the moment. So let's see, what can I find? So silver beet, if you're going to harvest it early, when it's small, you could probably do that. There's some pretty manky looking stuff here, and it's starting to go to seed. So here you go, it's been in its pot for too long, so we're not going to get that because we want to do good things with our money. Look, here is some eaten bok choy. We're going to get this because they will rebound and they will grow more leaves. Yay! So I think we will do some kale, because kale you can actually pop in and cut off the leaves and it will keep going. We'll do a kale bucket. Squire kale. Okay, so this is what I've got. I've decided on the spinach because the other spinach was just looking very manky and had already started going to seed, so wasn't gonna, maybe do too much more. Got perpetual spinach, that was the $3, basically $4, and these are the $2.39. Some pak choy and some kale. And we've got the lettuce as well. So I think that's a pretty good haul. Well, I think it's a pretty good choice, and we're definitely inside our $20 budget. So let's go grab these, and then we can head on home and put it all together. If you need buckets for the challenge, these are $1.39 from Bunnings, and they'd be just fine with a few holes drilled in the bottom, maybe 8-litre buckets. But you get my point. They would be just fine for what it is we're going to do. And they have plenty. Okay, and this receipt was $8.76, so we are well within budget. Okay, so we started with 20 and we spent $9.59 at Mitre 10 on soil and the lettuce. Then we went to Bunnings and we spent $8.76. So we had $1.65 left over. Chuck it in a tin. Maybe you can save up for a packet of seeds later on. I don't know. Or go and buy yourself. What can you buy for $1.65 now? Another punnet of dead plants. Oh, the rhubarb. Pop it in your garden and keep putting compost on it. Anyway, I'm going to go and start on the actual bucket creation process. So now we're going to go do the buckets. I'm going to do 5 buckets. We are going to fill them up with soil. after drilling holes in the bottom. Now, they need drainage holes, because if you've got them outside where they need to be, they're going to get rained on, because it's Auckland and New Zealand and it's autumn and it rains. So you need drainage so your plants don't drown. So we got to go and put drainage holes in the bottom. So I'm going to go grab the drill and do that. If you don't have a drill, use a nail. Go ask your neighbour. Figure something out. We're Kiwis, we're pretty resourceful. And then we're going to fill it up with soil, we're going to plant them, and then I'm going to show you where I'm going to keep them, because I will need to make sure that they are watered. Remember, they're buckets, they will drain like a pot plant. You will need to make sure that you are watering them. So I want to make sure that they're in a place where I'm going frequently, so I can remember to water them, so that, you know, we can use the food that we grow. This is going to be fun. I'm pretty excited. So I'm pretty stoked that I managed to do within $20. Now, I got quite a few plants. If you needed to buy buckets, you could just maybe not buy the kale. And you could buy 2 buckets and plant lettuces and spinach. And that would be a really great start on your bucket garden. And then you've got leftover soil, and you can buy another bucket next week and maybe some plants and do that and have kind of like, you know, build up your garden from there. You can reach out to your community and you can ask if there are buckets out there. You can go to painting companies and see whether they've got, oh, my hair looks interesting. You can see whether they've got some water-based paint buckets that they need to get rid of that you'll go and grab, clean them out. Make sure it's water-based paint, because then once you've cleaned that out with soap and water and let it dry, drill the holes in, you'll be great. Okay, let's find some buckets in this mess. I mean, it's organised chaos. So I've got buckets at the top. I'll grab some of them, and I've also got some of these, which might be good for like, for, what were they? I think I planted potatoes in there one year. I don't know, but I did something. This is where keeping things can come in handy. So yeah, let me just grab those out and we'll put them out on the lawn and see what we've got. So this is what we have to choose from. We've got 5 buckets. None of them have holes. All of them have weird random stuff in them. I'm going to use these ones for the lettuce and the bok choy and the spinach. And maybe that one actually I'll use for kale, because I want it to be a little bit taller. I don't need to find my drill bit, which is good. And they have the same leaderage as a bucket, so concept remains the same. Use what you've got, use what you can find, and just make do, because things will basically grow anywhere. Remember that lettuce from the other video I showed you growing in the gravel around the chicken coop? There you go. Nature wins eventually. Just be a bit careful when you're opening your potting mix. Try and kind of just open it away from you. There's been some pretty bad stories about Legionnaires, I think it is, you get from potting mix. You can get it. So if you are extra cautious, wear a mask. If you are a little bit less cautious, maybe just don't put your face in it. Alright, let's pick this sucker up and fill up these pots. Alright, so the buckets are done. I had to downgrade to 4 because my soil didn't quite go far enough, because these are bigger than 8 litres. But that's okay, I've now got 4, and I've got a random potting mix lying around somewhere else that I can make the 5th one. But the point is to do it for under $20, so I'm going to use what I can. Lettuce in there, so Great Lakes lettuce. It is technically a hearting variety of lettuce, but what we can do is we can actually pick off the leaves on the outside so it continues to grow inwards, so it doesn't form a head. You can also do like what they call a ponytail chop, which is you just basically cut it off here, leaving some of the crown available. These become the lettuce leaves you use, and then it will sprout more. You can do that sort of 4 or 5 times on each plant before it will run out of energy. If you're doing that, you need to make sure you keep feeding your pot. So not the most ideal ones to grow, but you know what, they were $1, and I'm going to save money where I can. And then we have our kale. So we have 7 kale plants in here. So I'm going to pop them in this one. They're not all going to go in. I'm going to try and do maybe 5, and we will have to harvest these as younger leaves, and they're not going to last as long as if we put them in the ground. But that's okay. This is for small space if you can't grow a garden. We've got spinach, and we've got lots of beautiful little spinach seedlings in here. And I'm going to pop that in that one, and we'll put them all in, and they're going to grow, and they're going to be so awesome. I have the bok choy, and so again, all of these can go around in this one here, because there's plenty of room. So let's get planting. So now it actually really is just as easy as breaking them up and popping them not too close to the edge, because the edge, if you do have them in the sun, may get a bit hot. I've got 3 left, which I'll find space for in my garden. So they're all patted down really nicely and hard, and there you go. Pretty easy, eh? Okay, let's do our spinach. These ones are a bit easy. You can just pop them out. They're quite dry. Wow. You want to give them room to grow because they're going to get quite leafy. We'll do one in the middle. Okay, this is going to be our spinach bucket. I think the only thing that actually resembles a bucket is this one, but you get the point. You can use buckets. I didn't use buckets because I had these and I couldn't find the drill bit, and I also couldn't find the hammer. So I used what I had, which was perfectly fine. Okay. Oh. Now we're going to do the bok choy. Now these ones are not cut and come again. They are harvest when you have little, these ones on the bottom. So let's pull these out. And with bok choy you can do generally 6 per square foot. And I'm going to put, so slugs and snails love these. So you are going to have to keep an eye on what is crawling around. You can do things like stick a, crush up an egg and crumble the shells around it, because the whole idea is just to make an unpleasant surface for your slugs and snails to like climb over. That's worked for me before. These have definitely been eaten by something. Don't worry about it, they'll rebound. It's totally fine. So there we go. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 6 bok choy in here. And now we've got our lettuce. This is the one that's going to look the fullest, because these are definitely leafy, ready to go. And this is going to be a salad bowl that we just cut from when we want lettuce to chuck in a sandwich or in a wrap or in a burger. We don't need to pull the full head out. Cut what we need, come back again later. It's dawning on me now that I've got quite a lot of lettuce planted around, so we're going to have lettuce coming out of our ears. So here you have $20 worth of stuff. Biggest expense was the seedlings. Can you make it cheaper by buying seeds? Yes, you can. Seeds pay off over time. Seedlings pay off right now. So with seedlings, you're basically paying for time, really, for someone to have bought the seeds, bought the potting mix, sprouted them, fed them. I'm going to rip that one off because it looks a bit tattered. Hi, dog. You're paying for time with seedlings. With seeds, you do all that yourself. So $3.50 for a packet of seeds. You're going to have to put the work in yourself, but you know what? It's kind of worth it, because, you know, 100 lettuce seeds for $3.50, and all you need to do is a bit of time and a little bit of attention to get this time and time and time again. Kind of seems worth it to me. But this $20 challenge was about what can I go and what can I use that I already have to pull together a garden for 20 bucks. This is some awesome autumn kai for your family. You can grow it along, you can water it, cut it when you need to. Maybe let them grow a little bit longer because these are little babies. But you'll be able to grab a cup of spinach, 2 cups of spinach leaves, some lettuce for your burgers, some lettuce for your sandwiches, a bok choy to chuck in a stir fry, and some kale to maybe bake, to make in a salad, to use in place of spinach. All sorts of goodness can come out of these things. And imagine if you had more buckets. Maybe in a month you could save up another 20 bucks and do the same with some more. So I hope you found this useful. We're going to water these in. I'm going to move them out to my in-ground garden because I have to hand water that at least every 2 days, because, you know, you've got to keep your garden watered. And that way I won't forget to water them. Fingers crossed. I mean, this is my Achilles heel when it comes to gardening. I just forget to water. So I'm going to pop them out there and I will show you the final placement and we'll water them in. Because remember, always, always, always water in your seedlings. That's what more than farmers say. I'm going to get the hose and I'm going to watch the dog lose her ever-loving mind as I pull out the water. She's unusually docile. I mean, she's having a huff behind me, but normally she's squealing and carrying on. Okay, so this is where I've popped them. This is my in-ground bed that I'll pop a video up about how I made. I've been waiting and saving for it for a long time, so I'm really excited. So I've popped these out here because I know they'll get watered and it gets a lot of sun. It's a really nice, lovely sunny area. So let's water them in. Okay, I'm just going to check to make sure that some of these smaller ones didn't get dislodged and just sort of firm them back down again. There you go. That's our $20 garden challenge. I'm going to check in with you every week and show you the progress. If they fail, it's on me because I didn't water them. One of the things that we do need to make sure of is that we feed them. Now every week you want to try and give them some food. Now that had 3 months worth of fertilizer in there, so it's okay. We don't necessarily need to worry about it for the next couple of weeks, but let's get something else going so that we don't have to go and buy fertilizer. Next week I'll be showing you guys how to make compost in a 20 litre bucket. Really easy, but in preparation for that, if you do have some trees around you that have leaves, go rake them up. Don't rake up privet leaves because then they've got privet seeds in and you'll have privet in your garden forever. But go get some leaves, put them in a bag, run them over with a lawnmower, do something, cut them up and save them for next week's garden job, which is going to be making compost in a 20 litre bucket. Pretty proud of how that one turned out. I'm pretty stoked with what I can get for 20 bucks. I'm pretty stoked with the type of vegetables and stuff I was able to plant, and I'm looking forward to sharing updates with you. I hope wherever you are, you're having an awesome day. I hope you had a wonderful Easter if you celebrate, and I hope you've got something fun to do with your day today that fills your heart. I'm going to go and hang out with my family because that fills my heart. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.